Hey guys, welcome back to another Star Wars video. So there are some interesting rumors going around, and I've noticed the landscape of Star Wars news, Star Wars scoopers, has really changed in the last couple of years. As you guys are probably aware, some of the old, reliable scoopers have stepped away from the game, making StarWars.net, Bespin Bulletin, those guys are not as active as they used to be. In fact, Making Star Wars has unfortunately retired. And as a result, there haven't been as many scoops in recent times. Whether you like leaker culture or you hate it, it's a fundamental part of Star Wars speculation, especially in the build-up to new Star Wars projects. And so in the aftermath of this shift, there have been a lot of fakers, a lot of new scoopers on the block, those who claim to know things. This was certainly the case before Mando Season 3 and the Ahsoka show, and those leakers were exposed as frauds, those who just made things up for clout. So these days, whenever I see crazy, unverified rumors, especially from sources and accounts who just came out of the blue, I'm very skeptical. I'm not saying they're all false. In the past, there have been a couple of occasions where unverified sources got things right, and they just seem to be anonymous random accounts, so I don't mean to discredit everyone. That being said, in light of recent official news for The Mandalorian and Grogu, Star Wars Starfighter and Ahsoka Season 2, there has been a suspicious surge of new accounts, claiming to have inside knowledge, claiming to have official sources, and it seems to me a lot of these people are trying to fill this vacuum at a time where there is no reliable information coming out. There are still some scoopers with a reliable track record, such as Jeff Snyder. Very occasionally Daniel RPK has been right, but now there's a bunch of new guys, and it's too early to tell if they're right or if they're wrong, because they're making claims about The Mandalorian and Grogu and Ahsoka Season 2, two projects coming in 2026, and so I guess we'll find out in due time. In light of this, let's talk about a couple of new rumors. And I should just say, take these with an enormous pinch of salt. There is no way to verify any of this. Some of it sounds legit, but I'll let you be the judge. So according to a source that apparently contacted the Twitter account Mandoverse Updates, the Death Watch are rumored to appear in The Mandalorian and Grogu, assisting Din Djarin, as well as other clans of Mandalorians. Now I almost innately believe this. The first part of this sentence makes sense to me, because like I said the other day, the title of the movie The Mandalorian and Grogu sounds like we're probably going to see more flashbacks, more of Grogu and Keller and Beck, and with Din Djarin, more flashbacks to his childhood, and how he was rescued by Death Watch, how they took him in as a foundling. That makes a lot of sense. But then they say assisting Din Djarin, as well as other clans of Mandalorians, and that's when alarm bells start ringing in my head. This sounds like fan math. I don't want to say it's wrong, because it does sound probable if it's flashbacks, but if it's the present day, given everything we know about Din, his mission, leaks we've heard from very reliable sources, they didn't make any mention of Death Watch during the New Republic era. I really want it to be true. The clans of Mandalore have reunited, but if that's what they're going to do, then you would assume Bo-Katan is going to be in this movie. But everyone reliable in the know has said Katie Sackhoff was not on set. She recently spoke about the trauma she experienced after The Mandalorian's third season. Her schedule doesn't align with the filming of Mando and Grogu, and so to me it sounds like she doesn't know when Bo-Katan's going to be back. And what I've heard is there is nothing concerning the Mandalore subplot. Now, if this was 2020, 2021, I'd be really excited about this. As I've spoken to you guys about in the past, my good friend Star Wars Santa knows a lot about this movie. We have a mutual friend who's very closely associated with the project, and I've spoken to Santa off screen, and I've got to tell you guys, his information is solid, it's correct, and a leak like this would have already come out. There might have been reshoots and we could be completely wrong about this, but these kind of rumors always sound a bit suspicious to me because if they're wrong, it's very easy for them to turn around and say, well, our sources got it wrong, but there were other Mandos, and maybe they got the helmet mixed up, maybe the colors were mixed up, and it kind of reminds me of the Bosk situation from Book of Boba Fett. There were lots of leakers saying Bosk is going to be in the show, it's going to be a callback to The Empire Strikes Back and all of those kinds of things, and lo and behold, it never happened. And so when Star Wars fans asked them, well, where did you get your information from? They said they confused the other Trandoshans in the Tatooine episodes with Bosk. They saw the alien costumes and the cosmetics, and they just assumed it was going to be Bosk. I'm not trying to discredit anyone, I have no idea who the original source of this is. I'd like to think this person does know something. That'd be extremely exciting to see more of Din Djarin's parents. In 2020 I got to speak to Bernard Bullen, who played Din Djarin's dad, and even back then he was clamoring for more of Din Djarin's past. I'm in the camp of wanting to see that, so I'm rooting for this to be true, more Death Watch, in flashbacks, and if it's the present day, are the Mando clans helping Din? But from what we've heard, Zeb Orrelios, maybe Carson Tava, Sigourney Weaver's character and a couple of others are the only people who are going to be allies with Din and Grogu in this movie. It's primarily focusing on their journey, so it doesn't sound like there are going to be some other Mandos assisting them. I don't want to rule anything out, I just want you guys to go into the movie with realistic expectations, and when leakers like this come along with no track record, it's kind of hard to believe them. It's just what's implied when they say assisting Din Djarin. If they mean assisting him from the super battle droids in the flashback, I agree, I'd expect to see something like that. But if they mean in the present day, I don't know. They no longer exist in the same form they did in the Clone Wars. During the Age of the Empire, some remnants survived, but they splintered into different groups. I don't want to get too excited. You guys know I'm a positive person, but I don't want to peddle something that doesn't end up coming true. I'm rooting for this, fingers crossed. So in other Star Wars updates, my friends, we have another piece of Star Wars movie news. Apparently, various creators at Lucasfilm have pitched their own Star Wars movies behind the scenes. Nothing about this has been announced. None of these creators are confirmed to have a Star Wars movie in the works, but if true, Star Wars fans are going to be very excited for this. Far more than they are for the upcoming slate. So the report says Jon Watts, who did Skeleton Crew, Bryce Dallas Howard, a Mandoverse favourite, and Rick Famuyiwa, an amazing producer on Mando, have pitched their own Star Wars movies to Kathleen Kennedy. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine if they announced this instead of James Mangold's film, the Rey movie, Rian Johnson's trilogy, Simon Kinberg's trilogy? These are three creators who are beloved by the fandom and who've been praised so much in recent years. Jon Watts for Skeleton Crew, Bryce Dallas Howard for her work on pretty much every Mandoverse project. And by the way, my friends, she's confirmed to be directing for Ahsoka Season 2. And Rick Famuyiwa is fantastic as well. I don't know the types of Star Wars movies they pitched, but we do know for a fact, this rumour aside, that Jon Watts did pitch a Star Wars movie. It was before Skeleton Crew was a TV show. If they ever come back to Skeleton Crew and those characters, maybe it should be a movie. Maybe these guys will be involved in a sequel to The Mandalorian and Grogu, if the box office is good. And finally, my friends, one more Mando update. Apparently Lucasfilm is looking to make more low-budget films instead of Star Wars TV shows going forward. We've kind of known about this for a long time and it's the best approach, but apparently the initially reported budget of The Mandalorian and Grogu is incorrect. The movie was reported to be about $166 million, but Jeff Snyder said, after marketing costs, when the final number comes out, it's going to be significantly higher, still cheaper than the majority of Star Wars movies to date, and even cheaper than many shows. But what do you guys think of all of this? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think these rumours are true, or are they bogus? And what 3 Star Wars movies can you imagine coming out of these creatives? If you enjoyed this one, my friends, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you, always.